The penultimate round of the Blancpain Sprint Series is in Misano on the Adriatic coast in Italy. It's a wonderful venue and it could decide the championship. But before we get underway here, let's look back at last time out. Initially in the Algarve it was a slow start for the pole-sitting Bentley, but the grunt of the engine managed to take it back in front of the Audi on the run down towards the first corner. Despite good reactions from Robin Franks, he couldn't take the lead, and it was Maximilian Buch who led the way into turn one. Up into third place went Markus Winkelhock in the Phoenix Racing Audi. And then in fourth position was the 333 Ferrari of Marco Siegfried. And that was the view from the back of Siegfried's car as it got very busy down at turn 3. The top two started to pull clear whilst they were still fighting down in the lower reaches. A great start from the 77 BMW of Valdeno Brito saw him climb up from the back of the grid. It was side by side between Enzo Eade and Sean Walkinshaw. Walkinshaw in the Nissan making the move stick. James Nash came in a lap early to Frank Stifler's frustration. When the pit stop window opened, everybody except the race-leading Bentley decided to come in. By keeping out on the clear track and avoiding the carnage in the pit lane, Bentley thought they'd have an advantage. Number 1 WRT Audi though had a clean stop, so it was going to be game on for the lead of the race. Meanwhile, Nicky Katzberg was sent spinning by Valdeno Brito. Frustration for Katzberg as he had to try and work his way back up the order again. After getting held up at pit entry and then a slow pit stop, the HTP Bentley was shuffled down to 4th position, the Phoenix Audi in 2nd, and the 333 Rinaldi running in 3rd position. Vincent Abril was desperate to try and get past to take the final spot on the podium, but they couldn't stop the Ferrari or the championship leaders Robin Franks and Laurens Vanthoor from taking victory in the Algarve. They extend their championship advantage. A superb second place for Markus Winkelhock and Nicky Melnoff, whilst it was the 333 Rinaldi Ferrari that finished 3rd across the line. Delight for Vanthoor and Franks, champagne for them, and a bigger championship lead. The 77 Brazilian BMW of Valdeno Brito and Attila Abreu has kind of slipped out of championship contention, but the Zero car will be hoping for a strong weekend as well. Sergio Jimenez and Caca Bueno haven't had the best of seasons so far, but Bueno is confident. He now knows the strengths and weaknesses of this BMW and is hoping for a better weekend here in Misano.
We had a little problem with the speed, the top speed. The car in the big circuit is not so good in the top speed. We lost time, especially in the qualifyings. And when you start in the back of the pack, probably yes, you not go so well. But car in the race is very good. Now the track don't have big straights. We hope go a little bit better than last couple of races.
It's a big weekend for the WRT Belgian Audi Club here in Misano. They could wrap up the Drivers' Championship if all goes to plan. The number 2 car of Enzo Eade and Christopher Nice isn't in the title fight, but they've been showing good pace all season and they'll be hoping to be one of the front runners. But in the number 1 car, it is Laurens Vanthoor and Robin Franks who can take the title this weekend. They're 26 points clear of their closest rivals, so a strong result in the main race could see them wrap up the Sprint Series title. They've been strong at every track this season, and Vanthoor is confident that they can get the job done here at the penultimate weekend of the championship in Misano.
We're in a pretty luxury position. Still 2 weekends to go in the GT Championships and the Sprint, but we can already secure both championships here. It's not our main goal. We try and work as we always do, the best way possible, and see what comes. But if we could achieve those 2 championships already here, it would take a bit of the pressure away for next week.
The Grasser team returned to the Sprint Series this weekend with 2 Lamborghini Huracans. In the 19 car, it'll be the champions from last year's Blancpain Super Trofeo. Jerome Mull won the Pro Class, Alberto Di Folco won the Pro-Am, while in the 63 car, Lamborghini factory driver Mirko Bortolotti is joined by this year's Super Trofeo champion, Patrick Kuchera.
The level is much higher, people with much more experience, so I expect to be tougher, but it's any other race, so I go there and try my best and let's see what happens. Conditions will be the same for everybody, so it doesn't matter if it's rain or dry, I go out and do my best.
The 84 HTP Bentley is the other car in the title fight. In the 83 machine in the Silver Cup class, it'll be Jules Sivkovic and Max van Splunteren once again, and they'll be hoping to continue their impressive form so far this year. But it's the 84 car that is in the championship fight. Vincent Abril and Maximilian Buch. Boot missed out on the Sprint Series title last year because he had to miss one race, so it went to his teammate Maximilian Goetz. This season he's determined to wrap up the championship and he knows what he's got to do.
Winning both main races, plus qualifying race, plus being on pole in both races, and needed a bit of luck that maybe the #1 Audi is having a bad weekend or maybe they retire. We first have to win it, and it's hard enough to win the race in the Sprint Series and for sure also the main race. But we will fight it until the end, until it's not possible anymore.
Russian team enjoyed a strong weekend last time out in the Algarve. Alexei Vasiliev and Marco Asma in the 71 car managed their best result of the season so far, finishing the main race in 9th position. And they're going to be in the battle for the championship as well, because leading it at the moment is their teammate, Alexei Karachev, who's in the 70 car alongside Christoph Bouchou, is the man at the top of the Pro-Am standings. Karachev has had a number of co-drivers this season, including Bernd Schneider. That's why he's out alone at the top of the standings. But for him, the focus isn't just on Pro-Am, even though he can wrap up the title this weekend. He wants to continue to improve and get further up the order.
Oh no, as you saw from the previous races, if I have a good setup, I always try to get in top 10 and to show good result in overall. If you could see a race in Moscow or some other good races when we were in top 10, so it's always a race between all the cars, not only our class. But of course, in our class, it's also important. But the main goal is to look forward, you know, to get ready for overall racing.
The always evolving motorsport Nissan and Craig Dolby and Sean Walkinshaw are coming off the back of a superb weekend in the Blancpain Endurance Series last time out at Nürburgring. They were leading the race in the early stages before pit stop problems put them further back down the order. They also had a strong run in the Sprint Series in Algarve, so there's hope among the pairing that they can have a good weekend. But this weekend may well end up being weather dependent, and if that does happen, then Dolby is feeling confident.
Being British, you know, we're used to the wet weather. I think it'll be interesting in the evening on the Saturday night race in the rain, because you know, with the floodlights on, it could look quite special with all the spray. Probably tricky for us drivers, but you know, at the end of the day, we're a show, and it'll make it even more interesting. But the car always handles well in the wet, and I'm looking forward to anything that's thrown at me this weekend.
So it's time for the qualifying race for the penultimate round of the Blancpain Sprint Series here in Misano. It's a night race, as you can see. It's about 8:30 local time here. The night has drawn in, the floodlights are on, and we are very much looking forward to this action, which is going to be fantastic for a few reasons, one of which, John, is the circuit.
Yes, the Misano circuit. We've got 16 turns, 4.2 kilometers. For the slightly longer version, there's a MotoGP version, which is a couple of 100 meters less, 3 sectors, start finish into turns 1 and 2. Watch out for turn 2, because that's where the pinch point will occur on the opening lap.
Let's have a look at the grid. Seidler and Dolby on the front row, Ferrari versus Nissan. Watch out for the fast starting Vincent Abril. He's going to be starting in 4th place on the grid, just behind Stefan Rakelmi in the first of the Audis. Then it's Christopher Mies and Nick Katzberg on the 3rd row of the grid. Watch out for Katzberg as well, very quick racer. Marcus Winkelhock in 7th place. We've got 2 Lamborghini Huracans here this weekend. Mirko Bortolotti starts the first of them in 8th, just ahead of Jeroen Mull in 9th. Vardeno Brito completing the top 10 in the first of the BMWs. Sergio Jimenez will start right up behind him in 11th place. Then it's Laurens van Thor, who, well, he was classified 12th, but he will be starting from the pit lane. So then we've got Simkoviak and Bouchou in 15th and 16th positions. And this 18-car grid will be completed by Anders Fjordbak, but as I say, that grid showed Van Thor in 12th place. He will be starting from the pits. We're about to go racing for the qualifying race here in Misano. On pole position, it's the 333 Rinaldi Ferrari, Norbert Seidler at the wheel. Alongside him is Craig Dolby in the Nissan. Watch out for Vincent Abril. He starts 4th on the grid. Rakelmi is in 3rd in the WRT Audi. Wait for the lights to go out, and then the races go. On board we go with Jimenez, who gets a very good start on the run down towards the first corner. But what's happening for the lead as they come down into turn 1? It's the Ferrari who leads. Up into 2nd place is still the Nissan. The Bentley's got through into 3rd position. So Seidler holds the lead. Rakelmi's been shuffled well back as we go back on board with Jimenez, coming through the long right-hander that takes us through towards turn 3 and then down towards 4 and 5, onto the brakes. And there you can see there's Rakelmi, look, he's way back in the pack now, just in front of Jimenez. So he's lost an awful lot of ground on that opening lap, but it's Ferrari who holds the lead.
A good start to get the Ferrari into turn one, clear of the rest of the field. The Bentley with Vincent Abril looking threatening on the Nissan in second place.
And there was an attack from the Lamborghini Huracan of Mirko Bortolotti. He's going up the inside and going past the Lamborghini Gallardo, which is in the hands of Nick Katzberg. So Bortolotti, who started in 8th place on the grid, is now up into 4th position. So good start from the Italian at his home event. So here's a look at the start again then as they come out of the final corner. The man to watch out for is that Audi on the right-hand side there, Stefan Riquelme, because, and Christopher Mies too actually, they were nose to tail in 3rd and 5th positions, but just somehow they lost an awful lot of places, trying to keep an eye on the inside here, and they just get bunched out at the start, don't they?
I think they're shoveled. It's difficult to read the headlights coming into the turn one, so it all goes into a sort of a light out, but they appear just to get shuffled backwards. The Bentley, certainly the Bentley was very forceful, as was Nicky Katzberg, who in fact was right under the tail of the Bentley, and then Bertolotti, he got up along and passed the Gallardo in the Huracan.
Well, this will tell us, because this is looking back from the race-leading car, so that behind us there is Stefan Riquelme. He just gets past on the brakes, doesn't he, around the outside going into turn one, so that's where Riquelme dropped back some places. 51.5 minutes to go. Stevens' lead is up to 1.1 seconds now then. This meanwhile looks like it's going to be Christopher Mies getting past Marcus Winkelhock as they come up into their hairpin. And Mies had closed right up to the back of Winkelhock, who in turn was trying to attack the car in front, side by side. Mies going around the outside at turn 6 and manages to do so. So good move there from Christopher Mies. You just wonder if that may come under investigation because he went off the circuit in making that manoeuvre potentially. Christopher Mies is on a mission. Look at him going up the inside there of Marco Bononomi, the other Italian driver, and he goes through. So Christopher Mies up into 9th position, and Bononomi tries to fight back. Mies gives him a little squeeze. He's got the job done. So now there's Laurens Vanthoor. We're on board with him. He's up to 13th position now, and I think points are a little optimistic, but you want to be as high up the grid as possible for the race tomorrow.
It's more about track position. I mean, if he can get into the top 6 before this race ends, he'll take it, believe me. And that top 6 position will put him onto the front 3 rows of the grid, which would be a pretty great result, having to start from the pit lane.
So here he comes through turn 6. Big stall. This is easy. Here we go, up the inside. He's got a much better run. Oh, it's not that easy because he's a little bit nudged onto the grass, and there's contact, and off goes Laurens Vanthoor. Big accident, and the Bentley has been collected in that as well, and the Bentley's gone off the circuit of Jules Simkowiak.
Well, there is Simkowiak under the Bentley.
There's Laurens Vanthoor out of the car. Fantastic, but it's fantastic to see him getting out of the car. He's taken a hit on his left ankle.
And that's going to hurt, believe me.
But great to see Laurens Vanthoor climbing out of the car. Obviously, it's great to see him okay. That has big championship implications, though.
Totally.
Because that will be them potentially done for the weekend. So not the way we wanted this championship battle to unfold.
So let's look again now.
See, I think he gets 2 nudges here, but we'll wait and see.
Goes down on the left-hand side. This is coming down. And then he comes across, and in fairness, he comes back across. Heavy impact on the driver's side. Wheels, bodywork, shed. The Bentley, it's somewhere in there as well. Wheels going across the racetrack. You can see the left front wheel. And something sparking. I mean, that's
the Bentley.
Heavy damage.
This is on board with Vanthoor.
Watch again and see. So this is out of turn 6. Coming down, there's a kink at turn 7. Vanthoor's got the momentum. He goes down the inside. And then he appears to go out again to the middle of the track, and that's where they contact. So maybe Simkowiak didn't squeeze quite as much as it looked.
Into the pits comes the safety car after that accident for Laurens Vanthoor, and racing gets underway with 35 minutes to go. Norbert Siegler leads, Dolby is second, third is Vincent Abril, but Mirko Bortolotti in the Lamborghini has got a great run coming off the final corner. He's not going to be close enough for a look on the run down into turn 1, I don't think. It's side by side further back though, as they come into the first corner. I didn't quite catch who it was. I think it might have been Christopher Mies trying to get past Valdeno Brito, but this is the battle for third position then. As we come down, Bortolotti darts to the inside line. Still not close enough, but he's just trying to distract Vincent Abril, and he'll be frustrated because he can see the two leaders getting away.
Yeah, I mean, the Lamborghini clearly in the first sector of the racetrack, quicker than the Bentley, wants to get ahead of the Bentley, doesn't want to let the Nissan and the Ferrari first and second.
Oh, he's going for it up the inside. Very late move across from Abril, though, and he holds on to the position for the time being. The Lamborghini's got good drive, not quite enough. On board we go with him again as he closes down on Vincent Abril in front, and there's the sort of dust and cement that's coming up from the damage earlier on.
Yeah, the Lamborghini certainly closed down the Bentley a lot under braking. Of course, it stretches back out again as the Bentley accelerates that little bit earlier. But nonetheless, the Lamborghini is showing very strong pace in the first and third sectors of the circuit.
In comes, I think that was Stefan Rakelmi coming into the pits now from 6th position. Vincent Abril has just set the fastest final sector of anyone, so he was certainly feeling the need to push.
That was Christopher Mies.
Okay, so no, it was Rakelmi who's come in, so he will be heading back out onto the circuit once he's handed over to Stefan Ortelli. Rakelmi, I think, will be a bit frustrated with how that first stint went for him, considering he started in 3rd place on the grid. He was running well down the order. Well, not well down the order, he was in 6th position, but nevertheless, it's lower than 3rd. Half an hour to go, halfway through this race that's been interrupted by a big crash for Laurens Vanthoor. He is out and about and out of the car, but limping a little on his left leg, so any time we have information on that, we'll bring it to you. But this is our race leader, Norbert Siedler, in the 333 Rinaldi Ferrari. Craig Dolby is behind in the Nissan. Then it's this battle between that car in front, the HTP Bentley of Vincent Abril, the car that has a real chance now of making some serious inroads into the championship advantage of the #1 car, and he is under pressure from the car we're on board with here, Mirko Bortolotti, in the Grasser Racing Lamborghini Huracan. Into the pits now, I think comes the Phoenix Audi, and also Alexei Karachev coming in. Well, it's Christoph Boucher at the wheel to come in to hand over to Alexei Karachev, and yes, it is Finkelhock in the pits, so we've got a warning flag for cars 70 and 88 for track limits, so that's Christoph Boucher, so he's well down the order at the moment, but 88 is Nicky Katzberg, who's running in 5th place, so he'll want to take heed of that.
Yeah, but Nicky Katzberg, he's fighting for that 4th place right now, and obviously he's using a little bit too much of the track. I suspect it's all down in the apex of turn 6, using a little bit too much of the inside of the corner. Now we see the exit of turn 6, so cars are allowed to run wide. There's the battle for 3rd place. The Lamborghini again really runs up to the back of the Bentley into turn 8. Again, the Bentley just that little bit of initial squirt off the corner gives Vincent Abril the momentary breathing space he needs.
Towards the final corner comes the race leaders in. Dolby from 2nd place, in from 3rd place, Vincent Abril. So this is the chance for Bortolotti to put a lap in and see what he can do.
Yeah, but he's only got just under 2 minutes, one more lap, so he's going to have to pretty much come in at the end of the next lap, so he can maybe make up half a second or more on this lap. As we see the Bentley coming in from 3rd place.
Behind, we also saw Nicky Katzberg under a lot of pressure from Christopher Mies in their battle. But in comes Dolby.
This is the important stop for the Nissan team. They've got to make this driver change, the wheels change, and Sean Wolkinshaw just has to reassess or readjust the belts that have been released by Craig Dolby. So it looks like the door problem with the Bentley. There we go. Close. That looks fine. Oh, what's going on here? So
a little bit of a go, don't go.
Maxi Cook's going to overtake 2nd place. He's going to pass the Nissan.
Yeah, it's a slow stop for the Nissan. Problem for the left front. And they're having to try a different nut. Oh, what a shame.
Nightmare. All the work that they did prior to this event, practice, left front. What a nightmare.
When it matters.
I mean, they've given up podium position for certain.
Absolutely. But I'm also interested about, there's a bit of an interesting chat here, because the Bentley may have departed before the mechanics were back behind the line. That's my concern there. We'll have to wait and see. There's Craig Dolby storming out to the back of the garage. Siedler and Bortolotti both in the pits then. Here they are nose to tail. The Grasser team know how to do this. They do it in the Blancpain Endurance Series. They did it in the Sprint Series last year. So this is going to be very interesting. In comes Bortolotti. He's going to be handing over to Patrick Kujala.
Well, if there is a penalty for the Bentley, as you maybe rightly identified, then that could be the winning car, either the Ferrari or the Lamborghini, but the Grassi team have got maybe slightly more experience with doing these pit stops, doing them in endurance races. So driver Joe, look, he's pumped. Look at Bond, he is pumped.
Absolutely, away goes the Ferrari.
Good stop,
very
good stop.
swift. Very
good indeed for the Ferrari team. That's Rinaldi Racing did a good job, get their driver and car critically ahead of the Lamborghini.
Well, let's see what happens with the Bentley then. It's coming up to the final corner now. Maximilian Buch at the wheel of this HTP car. It looked like they had a slow pit stop, problems getting away, and as a result, where are they going to come out in this battle? There is the potentially race leader. The pit exit goes all the way around the first two corners. Out goes the Ferrari, comfortably back in the lead, and comfortably second place now for the Lamborghini. Third place heading out of there is Enzo Ede, I think, in the number 2 WRT Audi. Yes, so Enzo Ede up into third place. So that's the order. 333 Ferrari of Marco Seefried. Second place Patrick Kujala in the Grassi Racing Lamborghini. Third Enzo Ede in the WRT Audi. Fourth now Maximilian Buch in the HTP Bentley.
Maximilian Buch is going to be, he needs to be aggressive, he needs to get on with the program. This is down at the end of the back straight. So into turns, look at the headlights, absolutely burning a hole in the back of the Audi. So strong are the lights out of turn 14. Then the short sprint up to the tighter turn 15, then nothing really you can do. It's all about preparation for the exit of 16. A good run is necessary. Get the drive. He's got a set of tyres that are warmer, they're 1 lap warmer than the Audi. Wants to make the cut. Enzo Ede stays on the right hand side to make the Bentley go the long way round. Ede will be late in the brakes as possible. Sweeps through, great pass. Good driving by Enzo Ede. Recognised the situation, could have made a mess of it, but didn't.
So here's a look at the Bentley pit stop. So now, they didn't shut the door, the tyres and wheels are there, and then they send him away before the tyre man's gone.
He stops.
And then they say wait, but then he says go.
And he's still out of position.
And then you see, look, the team manager, furious.
Absolutely.
So, this is the recovering Nissan, isn't it then? So that's Sean Walkinshaw, who's managed to get past now. Oh, he's pulling over. Oh, no, he's not. It was a dart up the inside, wasn't it? But that was Walkinshaw battling with the likes of Vasiliev and Jeroen Mul.
Yeah, this car was challenging for the lead before the pit stops. Now all the way back down to 13th place because of the left front wheel, which for whatever reason the wheel nut or the wheel nut gun wouldn't do the job it was meant to do. And what a disappointment for a team that is improving very, very quickly indeed. Got the performance front row of the grid for starting, run strong second, and then to lose it in the pit stop.
So on board with Walkinshaw. He's up to 12th now, so that was them getting past Thomas Fjordbach. Both Jeroen Mul in front of him and Walkinshaw himself managed to get past Thomas Fjordbach.
He's gone down the inside, he's going to go into turn 13. Very, very tight indeed.
Now we've just had message from race control that the pit stop for car 84, Maximilian Buch and Vincent Abrel, is under investigation. A bit of a twitchy moment there in front. It's Jeroen Mul, who was the Lamborghini Super Trofeo champion of last season, and as a result got picked up by the Lamborghini Squadra Corsa squad. Squadra Corsa squad, that's something to say, isn't it? As they come across the line.
Look at the glow from those brakes. There's a mighty big disc in the front of the Bentley and it's glowing cherry red.
We've had a drive-through penalty for car 6, which is Nicky Mermanoff, for not respecting the track limits. He'd had a final warning and hasn't heeded it. So this is Sean Walkinshaw, who's managed to finally get past Jeroen Mul up at the hairpin. So that's Walkinshaw with Mul fighting back. No, I think the job's done now for Walkinshaw. He holds on to 11th place, and he's now just behind Albert von Turn and Taxis in the battle for 10th position.
Yellow flag.
There it is. It's Alberto Di Folco who has ended up in the gravel bed. 4.5 minutes to go. Seefried now has a 1.5 second advantage up at the front. Max Buch is going to push. But how fussed will he be to get past Kujalo? It's an extra 2 points in the championship. It's a front row start instead of a second row start, but in the grand scheme of things, you just got to keep finishing, haven't you?
Well, the key will be, obviously, second place is better than finishing at third, but the risk involved with just 4 minutes remaining, you could end up having contact damage to your car. You could end up going out of the race in literally the closing minutes. So Max Buch, I think, has now conceded that second place. He's backed away from the back of the Lamborghini, and he's going to take currently a third place. assuming that whatever was going on under investigation with the team manager having to go upstairs to see race director doesn't come into play as well.
There's a very nervous Gottfried Grasser trying to hold on to that second position. But yeah, a fourth and a fifth to start the season in Nogaro. Brands Hatch was a weekend to forget. And we've just been informed, car 84, HDP Bentley, Maximilian Boot, a drive-through penalty for that pit stop infringement, not having the men back behind the white line before you let the car go. And that's safety grounds. You don't want men working around the car as it pulls off.
Maximilian Boot might feel aggrieved, but it is a team sport. You've got to take it. Sometimes the driver makes the error, sometimes the pits. On this occasion, it was the pit made the error.
So we'll see what happens, whether they actually make the pit stop. If they don't, then they might just be offered a 30-second time penalty, which would put them down in 8th position. And there's Walkinshaw going past Albert von Turner Taxis. So Sean Walkinshaw makes up another place, and he's now up into the top 10, which isn't ideal, obviously, considering they were in the battle for the lead of the race earlier on. But in terms of the grand scheme of things, Walkinshaw's recovered well. Final lap for Marco Seefried and Norbert Siedler here in Misano. What an entertaining, action-packed evening night race this has been. A horrible crash for Laurence Van Thor, which brought out the safety car in the middle part of the race, and off there goes Alexei Vasiliev into the gravel trap. That's down at the hairpin. He's ended up a long way in there. But here towards the final corner comes Marco Seefried. He and Norbert Siedler are going to see the checker flag first for the first time in the Blancpain Sprint Series. Victory for Siedler and Seefried. Delight for Rinaldi. They're over the moon. It's second place for that team, the Grasser Racing Lamborghini squad. Gottfried Grasser there on the left-hand side, Mirko Bortolotti on the right. And he has a wonderful performance in a second place. Boot crosses the line in third, but that 84 Bentley, we believe, is going to be given a 30-second time penalty. It's nose to tail for what will be fourth place across the line, and it's just Attila Abreu who holds it in front of Stefan Ortelli. Then we've got Bueno, Nash. Walkinshaw is going to finish in 9th position, so he managed to get past Albert von Turner Taxis as well. James Nash finishes in 8th place, and Boot did just enough to finish ahead of Nash, so he'll start 7th on the grid tomorrow, Maximilian Boot. So let's hear now from our race winners, Marco Seefried and Norbert Siedler.
Norbert started on pole, never really challenged, great pit stop. Marco wins for you.
Yeah, it's great. Everybody did a great job. Mechanics, Marco did a great job. The car was awesome today, and yeah, we hope get a good result tomorrow. And yeah, thank you to everybody. Finally, we won a race now, and yeah, tomorrow we will push again.
Well, I have to say, you've got great straight line speed. How much of that effect helped today?
Yeah, you have to say great. We always have a good speed on the straight, but in the corners we are slower because we don't have that much downforce than the other cars, because the other cars are new. So yeah, we were fast today and tomorrow as well.
Marco, great finish to the race, under pressure from the Lamborghini and the Bentley, but in the last few laps that sort of faded away and you had a comfortable victory in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I had sort of a drop of the rear tires like Norbert had. He also replied it on the radio, and I thought, wow, this is now getting really tight. But once I recognized there are 4 headlights behind of me and really close to each other, so I recognized they are in a fight, and then I saw I could pull away a bit again, so without destroying my tires. But it's like Norbert was saying, we're struggling really in aero corners. It's the same as out of slow corners traction-wise. But finally, we don't want to complain. Well, we did it now, and it was time for a win. And yeah, thanks to everybody involved.
Well done.
Thank you.
Here's a look at the results after 35 laps of racing. It is Marco Seefried and Norbert Siedler then who take the victory. Patrick Kugler and Mirko Bortolotti in second place. Third for Enzo Eden, Christopher Mies. Not really the kind of result we would have been expecting. Attila Abreu and Valdeno Brito, didn't really see much of them, but they ended up in 4th position. Ortelli and Raquelme in 5th. Then we get to the cars that we were expecting to finish up at the front. Buch and Abril handed a 30-second penalty for a pit stop infringement. Walkinshaw and Dolby lost seconds and seconds in the pits and could have won the race, but now they're in 9th. Then we got Von Turner Taxis and Nicky Katzberg completing the top 10. 12th place for Meir Murnhoff and Winkelhock after they too had a drive-through penalty. Norbert Siedler and Marco Seefried on the top step. Stefano Giannini, the mayor of Misano Adriatico, hands out the trophies on the top step. And what a great performance from the Ferrari drivers. It's the penultimate main race of the season here in Misano. The Blancpain Sprint Series of 2015 is almost coming to a conclusion, but we've still got one more weekend to come up, next weekend in Zandvoort, but first it's the main race here. You can see it's 23.8 degrees, track temperature is at 24.3 degrees, and it's turning into a lovely day. After rain all morning, it looks as though it's going to be a slick start here at this Misano circuit. Here's a look at the starting grid for the main race. Pole is Marco Siefried in the Ferrari, the Lamborghini of Kujala alongside. Row 2 sees Enzo Ede starting in front of Attila Abreu, the first of the Brazilian BMWs. They are very quick off the starts. Stefan Ortelli 5th, Caca Bueno in the second Brazilian BMW is in 6th spot. Then in 7th place, Maximilian Buch. Championship protagonists, they need to climb as high up the order as they can. James Nash will start 8th. Then Sean Walkinshaw in the quick Nissan alongside Albert von Turnentaxis in the Reiter Engineering Lamborghini Gallardo. The Fjordback brothers will start in 11th place, just ahead of Niki Meyer-Melnhof. Philippe Salaquada will start 13th for the ISR Audi team, ahead of Alexei Kadashev. And then we've got Alexei Vasiliev. Alberto De Falco will start from the pits, not in 16th position for the Grasser Racing team in their Hurricanes. Van Splunteren won't start, and neither will Robin Freins. Those last two cars eliminated in the crash yesterday. It's going to be very, very interesting, isn't it? On the run down towards the first corner. Siefried and Siedler took their first win in the Blancpain Sprint Series yesterday, and they'll be hoping to take their first main race victory now. The penultimate race of the Blancpain Sprint Series is about to get underway. The second Lamborghini is in the pits. They'll be starting from there, but the other Lamborghini is on the front row in second position. Patrick Kujala at the wheel. It's Marco Siefried in the Rinaldi Ferrari on pole. Ede and Brito on row 2 as this 1 hour race gets underway. An immediate dart from Abreu to the inside line. Can he squeeze through the two leaders and take the lead of the race? It's getting very close in there. Very aggressive driving and darty driving. A late look up the inside from Enzo Ede, who slipped back down the order, and around the outside goes Kujala, and he leads. What a move from the Lamborghini driver. Siefried drops down to second. Third is Abreu. Up into 4th place has come the Bentley.
Absolutely great start from the 4th row of the grid, but it was going to be all about turn 1. But Patrick Kujala got a slam on the side from the BMW, but recovered, and then planted the Lamborghini on the inside of turn 2, got the advantage, has got ahead of the Ferrari, and that's going to be the key for the Lamborghini, because they can stretch out maybe up to half a second getting onto the back straight after exit at turn 10, then they can consolidate.
Big loser at the first few laps is Enzo Ede, look, who's right down behind Stefan Ortelli. He's behind the Nissan as well of Sean Walkinshaw. Running out wide there was Albert von Turnentaxis getting shuffled down, and he's now going side by side with Enzo Ede as they come up to the right-hander of turn 10 that then takes them out onto the back straight. But Patrick Kujala has taken the lead in the Grasser Racing Lamborghini car and is starting to pull away. Second is Siefried, third is Abreu, and Maximilian Buch will be desperate to get past. Great start from Buch, 7th to 4th.
Yeah, I mean, Max Buch has got to get past before he gets to turn 13. He's on the tail of the BMW, but can't do anything about it. The Lamborghini has managed to keep the gap between the Ferrari and second place about the same as it was coming onto the straight, but it's Max Buch who's really, really pushing very hard right now, and Abreu in the BMW currently in that 4th position.
Into the final corner they come to complete lap 1 then, and it's Patrick Kujala who is leading the way. It's his first ever race weekend in a Lamborghini Huracan. It's his first race weekend in the Blancpain Sprint Series. Yesterday, when they pitted the car and put him in, they were in second position, and the team thought, I don't really know if he'll be able to hold on to this. It's his first race in the Huracan, you know, and it's such a competitive series. He impressed them all by holding on to that second place. Half a second then between the Lamborghini and the Ferrari, and there's the look up the inside. Through goes Maximilian Buch into 3rd place then. Buch up into 3rd. He gets past Attila Abreu coming into this sequence of corners, and a little out of shape there. Niki Meyer-Melnhof, and he's going to spin it. Meyer-Melnhof goes around in the Phoenix Audi. Did he get a tap there?
He got a tap on the right rear quarters.
We're on board with Marco Siefried chasing down the race leader.
Now this is where he's going to have to do everything he can on the Ferrari. You can see already just fractionally closing to the rear of the Lamborghini now, as close as he's been at any point since the lights went out. He's going to make a dive down the inside of the turn 13. Is going to be a brave move, nowhere near far enough alongside, but intent, if you can be guilty of intent, that was guilt.
So there you can see into 13, which is a bit more aerodynamic dependent, how much the Lamborghini then pulled away. So it's a fascinating battle between these two, but that will give Siefried confidence to know that he can take the fight to Kujala. Kujala's off towards Bologna, gets it back on the track though.
That was well off the red bit. You're allowed to run the red bit, but anything beyond could be questionable. And now the Ferrari looks to go down the inside into turn 1. That was a slow exit for the Lamborghini. Kujula is now feeling a lot of pressure from Marco Seefried.
The gap was less than 0.2 of a second between them as they crossed the line. Maximilian Buch on that last lap was about 0.4 of a second slower. As they get on the brakes into the right-hander of 4, then through 5. This will take them out onto the little stretch, and that Lamborghini is lively in front.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the snap from left to right, the car responding, almost over-responding as the inputs behind the steering wheel. But I'd have to say Marco Seefried really feels that the victory is available to the Ferrari, closer than he's been at any point yet again in this middle part of the circuit, where one might say that the strength goes to the Lamborghini. Again, closes as close as he can. Gets on the throttle, tries to keep a slightly tighter line, the Lamborghini wider on the exit. Who's the quicker off the corner? Well, probably difficult to tell, only a stopwatch will do that, but now you see Lamborghini going defensive. Ferrari's going to have to go the long way around the outside if he wants to make this pass, and he's darting alongside in 12 into 13. Can he make it stick? Yes, what a pass!
So Marco Seefried takes the lead of the race away from the Lamborghini. Kujula's still in there, darting around to try and get a better drive out of the corner, but it's Seefried in the Rinaldi Ferrari who leads the way. Kujula drops down to second position. Great move around the outside. The one question is whether he went over the edge of the track to do it, but whatever happens, it was brave. Now here you see the attack again, and it's around the outside then, coming into turn 11. My only concern here is watch the Ferrari goes well off. Well, he doesn't go that far off, actually. Doesn't quite go all the way off the curbs, I don't think, so he'll probably get away with that one. Wonderful move from Marco Seefried, and there was nothing Kujula could do to fight back at that point. The Lamborghini gets faster as the straight goes on. That's an obvious thing to say, but relatively to other cars, as we see some great battling going on here. This is Alexei Vasiliev, who's just got past Thomas Fjordbach, but because of their restrictor limitations, they're not that quick getting up to speed, but once they get up to the high-end speed, they start to increase their sort of speed exponential. So here's a replay of the start, and keep an eye out for the Lamborghini on second place. It was a rapid start, and the BMW in the middle jumps to the inside line and is darting around. He doesn't want to get put in a sandwich, and then Kujula's still quite a way back there. He's done a really good job to get around the outside.
The reason he had a chance to do a good job, because on the outside of the corner he could run a little bit later and be on the brakes later, and he just about got the Lamborghini into a slot that either wasn't there but appeared, or he made the slot. So good driving from Kujula on that opening corner.
See, it's right back there, and then poof, through into the lead of the race. So very impressive stuff from Kujula, and you wonder whether that would have happened if the BMW hadn't been there in the middle. This is the view on board with Caca Bueno's car, and there's the jump from Attila Abreu. Fantastic stuff. Caca Bueno's getting shuffled out to the outside, then watch the Lamborghini go all the way around the outside.
Coming into turn 8, it's all looking as if the Bentley's ready to launch another challenge on this second place. And again, it's into turn 9 and then turn 10, where he needs to position the Bentley, shows that he gets on the throttle, he can continue, and he's got it. He's up the inside this time, more or less. He's going to make the Lamborghini stick on the outside of the corner. So it's finally taken, this is the 11th lap. It's taken him 9 laps to get to position. And there's the shot on board the Lamborghini, and he's had to concede. The speed of the Bentley just manages to push it ahead and into turn 13, and a great overtake thought out by Maximilian Buch and executed perfectly.
But look at Stefan Ortelli right up behind Caca Bueno. Bueno knows all about close fought racing. He's a multiple champion in the Brazilian Stock Car Series. Six-time champion Ortelli, and through goes Sean Walkinshaw up into 6th position. So Ortelli makes the error coming into turn 13, and as a result shuffles wide and shuffles down a place.
So let's look again, just carrying too much speed and runs way wide off the racetrack. And Sean Walkinshaw sitting there waiting for the opportunity now. That's going to give him a great chance to put his Nissan into a challenging position to take 4th place.
So pit stop window is open. Who will be coming in first? I think we'll say Marco Seefried might come in because he's pushing like anything on this lap. In comes Buch. In comes Maximilian Buch to hand over to Vincent Abril. In comes Kujula to hand over to Bortolotti. In comes Abreu as well.
So this is going to be where I suspect this race can be won and lost. We saw a great stop from the Rinaldi team last night. We know that the Bentley team will do all they can, albeit that they had a penalty and they'll not repeat that. Kujula comes in, so jacks up, driver gets out. Marco Bertolotti, and Kujula inexperienced in relation to Bertolotti, so if the Lamborghini team can turn that car around. Come on, Maxi, make sure that door, we had a problem with the door last night and didn't close. Everybody get, oh! He was in the air.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that one he might get away with. Oh, and the Lamborghini loses a position.
Yes, the Lamborghini drops 2 positions in the end. The Grasser Racing team not as slick a job as they managed yesterday, so that means that the Bentley, well, the Bentley's still in second place, isn't it? But they lose out to the 77 BMW. And there's the Nissan going out ahead of the number 2 car, which it was anyway. So we'll keep an eye out on whether there's any more progress made. There's the leading Ferrari, so they came in 2. They're going to hold the lead of the race. Second place still for Vincent Abril, but up into 3rd now is the 77 car of Valdeno Brito now, and it's down to 4th spot for the time being for that Lamborghini of Mirko Bortolotti. And at the pit stops, the number 3 Audi is now back in front of the Nissan. In comes Bueno now. It's 3.5 seconds the gap then between Norbert Siedler and Vincent Abril. So we'll keep an eye out on the lap times, because whether that gap can continue to come down, because HTP took a second out at the pit stops. Now we've got Craig Dolby at the wheel of the Nissan, who's all over the back of Stefan Ortelli, but the marker board sent flying.
I mean, the marker board is not there to be punched. I mean, it's there to say this is where we want you to stop, because it has a bearing on the wheel changers. They need to have the car in a precise position, so as everything is in position. Then when they want to make, it's all about, it's almost like choreography. You've got to get everything so precise to get the best performance. So let's have a look and see Max book the door.
He spots the door.
Yes,
good work.
so the tyre guys get the door. The car still up on the Jackson's office. Jackson, the car. Oh, I tell you what, that's horribly close.
And I think it's going to be somewhere unorthodox for Bortolotti.
Well, it's interesting just to compare Bortolotti and Patrick Kujala, who started, and obviously the experience of Bortolotti is coming through. You can see he's thinking a lot more. He's not just sort of hammering the car. He's trying to work out, where can I use my strengths? You can see again in this first sector how quick the Lamborghini is vis-a-vis the BMW. I mean, the BMW is a great car. Big lock-up, that's the opportunity. Thank you very much. Made it easy for me. Down at a part of the racetrack, turn 4 and 5, which you would not ordinarily think where pass was going to be possible. But you lock it up like that, and the door opens, and come on through, Mirko.
There's Sean Walkinshaw on the pit wall, teammate of that man, Craig Dolby, who is hunting down the BMW in front. It's down to 1.3 seconds, the gap between 2nd and 3rd. It's kind of settled down at 1.3 seconds at the moment. There's Caca Bueno. Oh, don't know what's going to happen here. He's hoping his teammate Sergio Jimenez can hold on. He's gone much narrower though, coming into the right-hander that takes them out onto the back straight.
Yeah, I mean, Dolby took a totally different line, hung way out on the left to cut back to straighten the apex and the edge of the corner to try and get that little bit of extra drive. And he's got it now, he's got the speed. Can he get up the inside? Ooh. He's forced it, yes, and that all began into turn 9. Well spotted, Craig. You found your slot on the track, you made good use of it, and you got through. Now you've got one BMW down, one more to go.
Absolutely, so Dolby up into 5th place, thumbs up from Sean Walkinshaw.
And the Nissan now is within threatening distance to the 4th place of Brito.
Fastest man on the track at the moment, Craig Dolby. He set the fastest lap of the race on the previous tour at 1 minute 33.631.
Tension on the faces of the team in the pit lane. I mean, there's a great battle. This is what motorsport is about. The Nissan closes down. Again, Dolby hangs high and late on his turn in to try and get the undercut. Again, it's all about position, ultimately up into turn 9 and 10. It's close again this time and looking to do. I mean, the trouble is, every time you keep doing the same thing, then Brito will pick up the message, and he knows precisely where the Nissan's going to be and what he might have to do.
So that was a good drive, I think, from Dolby. He's absolutely right behind the BMW as they come down towards turn 11. That is flat out. If you take the racing line, and around the outside goes Dolby, off the circuit. Brito's holding in on the inside line as they come down into 13, and Dolby goes through, up into the position, but Brito's fighting back. He's getting squeezed. They're going to make contact. No! Brito holds on. Wonderful driving between the pair of them, and it's still the Brazilian BMW in 4th place.
Excellent driving. I mean, absolutely door handle to door handle between the two of them. And okay, maybe there's a little bit of blue on the BMW, a bit of yellow on the Nissan. It doesn't matter. That was classic good, close. You can even see in the pit, they're loving it. They think it's great. What great racing again. The long way for the Nissan, but it goes to cut out the inside to try and wrong foot, and he's back again to the left-hand side of the track. I mean, you need a mirror as big as a car to see what the Nissan is.
Absolutely, and as they get on the brakes into the right-hander at 14, really fantastic fighting between these two. But now Brito knows where Dolby is strongest, but he also knows if he covers the inside line too much, he'll just go around the outside.
Absolutely, that's the give and take. That's almost the chess game that we're seeing.
So there's Marco Seefried looking up to the skies just to check everything's okay. Here we go then. You know the drill now. Nissan to the outside, BMW to the inside. Nissan gets the drive, and he's closer this time than he was previously. The rain's coming down a little more now as well, but here comes Dolby. The BMW defends. Dolby looks to the outside. He tries to do the same thing again, and he gets pushed right out wide, and he manages to get past. Dolby through into 4th place, but he's carried too much speed, and the Brazilian BMW is going to be back up the inside. Brito holds on to 4th. This is just fantastic. They're going to be starting the final lap of the race in a moment, so there'll just be one more chance for Dolby to get through. Through the final corner and across the line. Norbert Siedler, the race leader, is on his final lap. And the thing that's going to kill us is he's going to be coming across the line just as these two go into turns 11 and 12. But here they come then. What a fight this is. Nothing more that either of them can do. The Nissan fundamentally quicker than the BMW. But whatever Dolby tries, he's having to try, you know, extravagant stuff around the outside of the quickest corner on the circuit. But whenever he tries, Brito at the moment has got a response. Down into the hairpin. Oh, a little bit out of shape there, Dolby, as he got on the curbs under braking, I think. And that has cost him a tiny bit of time. He needs to get a really good drive out of this turn number 10. It's good, but it's not as good as it has been in the past. So here they come down the back straight towards the flat-out kink at 11. He's going to be there or thereabouts by the time they get towards 14, but I don't think Dolby's going to quite have enough dust. Back to the inside at 13. Brito holds on. Here towards the final corner comes Norbert Siedler. The wipers are on, but the rain's not going to bother him now. The checker flag falls for Rinaldi Racing. Norbert Siedler and Marco Seefried win the penultimate round of the season. It's 2nd place for Vincent Abril and Maximilian Buch. They slash into the championship lead of Vanthor and Franks. It's 3rd place across the line for the Marco Bortolotti Lamborghini, and 4th across the line, Valdeno Brito and Craig Dolby in 5th. But a standing ovation for those two, because one of the best GT fights I've seen. But there are our victors. Here's a look at the results after 38 laps of racing in a frantic race. Marco Seefried and Norbert Siedler take the victory. 7 seconds clear of Buch and Abril in 2nd position. Patrick Kujula and Mirko Bortolotti finish in 3rd place for the Grasser Racing Lamborghini team. And then it is Valdeno Brito and Attila Abreu who hold off Walkinshaw and Dolby for that 4th position in that wonderful fight. Caca Bueno and Sergio Jimenez finishing in 6th spot. Ortelli and Riquelme in 7th. Ede and Christopher Mies in 8th position for the WRT squad. Salaquadra and Bononomi picking up a point and completing the top 10. Alexei Vasiliev and Marco Asma finishing in 11th spot. And then we've got Nicky Mehrmanov and Marcus Winkelhock completing the top 12. So now let's hear from our race winners, Marco Seefried and Norbert Siedler.
Marco Seefried, a perfect weekend, pole position, 2 victories, and now it's coming on to rain.
Yeah, it couldn't get any better. It was very frightening towards the end. I mean, we were really didn't know. Nobody knew if it really will come to a hard rain or not. Like now, it would be already very bad, and teams would think about now changing to rain tires, since that track is really special when it's wet, because it's so slippery.
Okay, Marco, just talk us through your overtake on Patrick Kujula around the outside on turn 12. Looked gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I lost it at the start. So I was close to him, and then I thought, out of 11, he had a small slide, so I had a better run out of it, and I thought, now or never. And he closed the inside, and I thought, there's just one chance left. I have to take the outside, and lucky me, it worked out.
Well, let's bring in Norbert if he can get away from his crew.
Yeah.
Norbert Siedler. Norbert, congratulations again, just saying to Marco, perfect weekend, and for you, all you had was clear air. All you had to do was just drive your own race.
Yeah, but it's not so easy. That
It looked easy.
No, it didn't, but I was pushing a lot because I thought it's maybe raining the last 3-4 laps, so I get a gap, and yeah, it was great. Mechanics did a great job, Marco a great stint, so thank you to everybody.
Well, fantastic drive by both of you. Great to see Ferrari winning in Italy. Look forward to more.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Let's hear now from Vincent Abril and Maximilian Buch. 8 points the gap.
Max Buch, great second place, great drive.
Yeah, much more I think than we expected at the beginning. I had a good start, pretty good first 2 laps, and then when I was behind the Lambo, I just tried to do no mistakes because I knew that he wouldn't score points because he's a guest starter. And so, but when I overtook him, I tried to pull clear to have a bit of a margin for the pit stop, and it went well.
And Vincent, you took over the car from Max, but there's nothing you could do about the Ferrari. It just seemed to have the pace of everybody this weekend.
Absolutely not. There's nothing we could have done. P2, like Maxi said, is perfect. Is what we needed for the championship, so we're very happy with that. And it's also because of a great start from him, from P7 to P4 or P3, so that made half of the race. And then I just had to finish, but there was some raindrops, so it was tough, but it was cool. It was a really good one.
Well, more than raindrops now, so let's get on. Thank you.
Here's how the championship points stand going into the final round of the season. There's 34 points up for grabs, and there's only 8 points between Robin Freins and Laurens van Thor, Vincent Abril and Maximilian Buch in second place. And then, lurking there in third position, 27 points behind, Marco Seefried and Norbert Siedler. A 3-way title fight at the final round. The big question is, will Laurens van Thor be there? Robin Freins will be, we're pretty sure about that. But if van Thor can't recover from his hurt foot, then Freins might have a new teammate for his title challenge. It's victory for the Rinaldi Ferrari team here in Misano. Thank you very much for joining us. The final race of the season will be next weekend at Zandvoort.